live from New York. It's the Desk of Lady Ada Hackaday.io final video edition.
Wow, has it really been 10 episodes? Well, 9, not including this one?
Yes.
I guess it has been. This is the 10th episode in our Desk of Lady Ada series for the Hackaday.io Raspberry Pi contest. I'm Lady Ada, and this is my desk. I'm going to be doing some Raspberry PiZero hacking tonight, showing you some fun stuff you can do with the PiZero to inspire you to enter this fabulous contest. Entry is free, so you could win some awesome prizes. Some of the things you can win. If you enter between now and February 25th, so about a week from now, you will be able to win one of 10 free Raspberry Pi Zeros. One of these, it's my personal stash. You're going to get one of my PiZeros, not this one because my grubby fingers have been all over it. I got ones in anti-static bags. They're like clean, fresh, untouched, ripe PiZeros that will be picked and shipped to you if you win. All you have to do is enter in your contest entry on hackaday.io. It's a free project site. Document your idea, your concept, something that you would build with a Raspberry Pi Zero. Again, you don't have to have one. You're going to come up with an idea, and the best documented, most well thought out project could be rendered, could be drawn, could be theorized, could be whatever, will win one of 10 PiZeros.
That's right, and we had a goal. We're not getting paid, we're not doing anything besides helping to get
In fact,
these.
we're giving away stuff. We're losing money doing this.
Yeah, but we did have a goal. We wanted to see at least 100 entries, and as of right now, we have 100.
Sweet. And then you can, even if you don't make it by that February 25th deadline, you should still enter because on March 14th, they're going to pick 3 grand prize winners, and those people will win one $100 gift certificate to the Hackaday store. You can win all sorts of cool stuff and pick whatever you like from the store to buy. So you could win a PiZero. Have a couple days, get your entry in. You could also win the Grand Prize $100 gift certificate. And not only that, you could keep working on your project and enter it into the Hackaday Prize, the 2016 Moonshot, send you to space, or give you a ton of cash for your awesome project.
Okay, and for the folks that this is like the first time they've ever heard of anything, what is a PiZero?
Excellent question. The Raspberry Pi Zero is the latest small single board computer from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. It is a $5 Linux computer. We've done quite a few videos covering it in detail. So if you're interested in, what kind of processor is it, or how much RAM it has, check it out. I don't remember all the details exactly, the MIPS and whatever. But basically, it's an ARM v6 running about 700 to a gigahertz, and I have I think a half a gig of RAM. Put in an SD card with a Linux operating system on it, or code it raw with JTAG, whatever the heck you want to do. And you can basically have a full Linux computer in half the size of a credit card. Amazingly small little device. Extremely powerful. And tonight we're actually going to be talking about something that only the Raspberry Pi Zero can do. Do you know what that is?
Well, the title is USB Gadget.
That's correct. It is USB Gadget capability. The Raspberry Pi Zero has a USB micro connection, and it has the ID pin connected to a GPIO on the Raspberry Pi, so you can actually use it in USB client mode, not only USB host mode. Isn't that exciting? I think it is. So I thought tonight I would show you how to get that going and some things that you can do with that.
Okay. Well, just to recap, Lady Ada has these. You'll get these. All you have to do is enter your ideas. There's about 100 right now up at hackaday.io. Check it out. Rules and more. Let's get this show started. Okay. What do you want to do first?
Let's go to overhead cam real fast. I'm just going to show my setup right now. So this is the PiZero setup that I've been using for the last couple shows. I've got an Ethernet hub here. This is just to get started. It's plugged into the USB data port. I've also got HDMI out. I'm not actually going to be using the HDMI out, but I just have it on my monitor to help me tell when the Pi is rebooting. And then I'm powering it over USB, and then I have a console cable. Console cable just means I don't have to type into the HDMI screen because I don't want to. I just like having to be able to copy and paste from my main computer. So I'm using a console cable, and there's a couple different ways to set up USB Gadget, but the way I'm going to do it is basically the fastest possible way while doing this all live. Check out the tutorial. I'm going to, of course, show it off to you in a moment. And you can do it without having a network access. You can do it direct on the SD card. So let's go to my computer. Beep, 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 beep. This is the contest page, so check this out. Hackaday.io/contest/9326. There's all sorts of information, including dates and times and deadlines and exactly the rules. So, of course, check that out. And how to, of course, enter in your project. So let's go to learn. And I have a write-up on this. And I'm just going to follow my write-up because that's what I'm going to do. So the Raspberry Pi has this USB port, which you can use a USB on-the-go adapter to add, basically connect a hub or a Wi-Fi adapter or Ethernet or USB keyboard or mouse or whatever. But it also has the ability, with a little bit of kernel hacking, to act as a USB client. So that means this device can act like a USB thumb drive, for example, or a USB serial cable. I'm going to just go through the two ones that work best that I know, but there are many, 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 many options. You can have it act like a hard disk. You can have it act like a MIDI device. You can even act like a printer or a webcam. But these, I'm going to show the ones that are the easiest to demo, which is Serial Gadget, Ethernet Gadget. So, this is based on a bunch of work from people on GitHub. So check out this link if you want to see Notro and some other cool people who kind of came up with this plan. I just documented it. So start off, you do need to have Jesse. I have Jesse burned in on an SD card. I made a fresh version. I use a USB console cable. You don't need one, but I like it. And then boot into your Pi. So I did that. Here is my Pi on the USB serial console that I know and love. And here I am. And then I also have it connected up to, man, I keep forgetting that. I have it connected up to Ethernet so I can grab the kernel. You don't have to do it over Ethernet. You can drag and drop it onto the SD card, which is what the tutorial shows. But it takes a little longer. So I'm actually just going to wget it. So grab the kernel. And this is a special version of the kernel that is compiled. You do have to use this version if you want to use USB Gadget because I do have a video that we did where we show how to add it manually. We enabled USB Gadget mode. Basically, if you just follow this tutorial, you'll get a ready-to-go setup. Then you can uncompress it. Oh, sorry. Gadget module. It'll make a whole bunch of files. Give it a second. Compressing. Okay, after it's done uncompressing, make a backup of your old kernel. So you're moving boot kernel image to boot kernel backup image. I don't think we'll need it, but I put in the instructions anyways. And then move the new kernel into boot. Install the overlays. Just copy and paste these commands. That's why I like having the serial console to do this, because you can just copy and paste. It'll complain about ownership stuff. That's because it's copying from not NTFS, but ext file system to FAT file system. And it's like, FAT file system doesn't have the same permission capabilities. It's fine. Okay, we moved the device tree overlays and then moved the libraries. Sorry, the modules into /lib. And then one last thing, edit Etsy modules. Oh, that's weird. Hello. I've never seen that happen. Can I VI? Something wrong. I think my Pi is just freaking. Maybe I will reboot. I just copied over I think a gigabyte of files, so it's probably hey, I'm f-syncing. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I forgot to expand file system. I might have to go to my 8 gig. Oh yeah, it's totally freaking out. Yay, live demo! Yeah, don't do what I just did. I forgot to, let's see if I can shut down. Expand the file system before you do what I just did. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll swap out and put in my my 8 gig card because my 8 gig card's good to go. Don't grab the wrong SD card. Okay. So you installed your kernel, and you didn't do what I did, and you remembered to expand the file system because you had burned a new SD card. Good work, you. Then you reboot, and it will boot as normal. It just has a different kernel version. Log in, and then edit modules, and then under etc modules, we're going to start with GSerial, which is the serial console gadget. Save it, and then turn on the service, which will allow you to basically have a serial console come through on the USB device, and then reboot. Okay, so, I rebooted and I forgot to unplug the Ethernet device. 1 second. Do this again. Log in. And then shut down. Not reboot. Wait for it to finish shutting down. Do a little dance. Come on. You can do it. I'm having like cursed SD. Okay. And then what I did this time is I plugged in the USB device into the the power from my computer instead of into the power port, into the USB port. So can we go into the overhead, the hover cam? Okay, so once you have that kernel installed and you've told it, hey, I want to have a GSerial device, you want to connect your power. This goes to your computer. You can also power it over USB, but honestly, just you can power it from your computer. So this is going to a powered hub on my machine. And can you flip back to my computer? And now, when you look, you will have a new USB device created on your Windows or Mac or Linux computer. It's going to be a CDC serial device, so you'll just it'll pop up automatically. You shouldn't need a driver or anything. And then you can, this is the console cable, but you can also create a new connection to, this is COM28. So, on Linux or Mac, it'll be dev cu USB serial something something. And then you can log in directly. So this is going through the USB cable, which is kind of nice. Like, you can basically now, you don't need a console cable, you just plug it in and it shows up as a COM port, and you connect through it via Minicom or PuTTY or whatever, and you're good to go. So that's kind of nice. And it's good if you just want to like connect and do some basic stuff. But let's say you want something a little bit more advanced. With the Ethernet gadget, it's a different kind of USB gadget. When you install this one, the Raspberry Pi shows up as an internet device. It shows up like if it was an Ethernet connectivity, which means that you can do a couple things. One, of course, you can SSH and ping from your computer, which is way more powerful than just having a serial connection. But not only that, you can share your Ethernet and your Wi-Fi through your computer. So for example, the Raspberry Pi is plugged in through a USB port to your computer, and that has it looks like an Ethernet connection, and then you can tell your computer, hey, share my network to like the internet to that connection, and then your Pi can get to the internet through your computer. I won't show that, but I'll show some other fun stuff you can do. So same step as before, you install the kernel, except when you edit etc modules, instead of G-serial, you put in G-ether. And what's cool is, like, after this, you actually can just reboot. Really, I don't have to do anything else. Yeah, you just reboot. Oh, sorry. Oh, what's up with that? Okay. Oh, because I'm connected to the serial port. Here's my console. Restart. And this time you'll notice that COM port went away, but I did get something else. I got a network adapter, and it's going to be called USB Ethernet RNDIS Gadget. And it says number 2 because I did this before a long time ago, so it's like, hey, there's 2 Raspberry Pis. And on your Pi, it'll have a new device called USB 0. And I guess it generates an Ethernet MAC address. But you have an Ethernet device called USB 0, and it will connect to your computer, and it will actually get an IP address. Kind of cool. Like, it'll create a new subnet, which is very handy. So if you do ifconfig all, you'll see there is a USB Ethernet device. It does have an IP address. So from your Windows computer or Mac computer, you can ping that address and connect to your Pi. You can also, if you want to SSH in and you have SSHD running, you can SSH in. Ta-da! Like, hi, we're on a Pi, and basically you SSH without needing to have your PiZero have an Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapter. Very handy. So next up, what you can do is, this is a very handy thing. You want to install Avahi daemon. Is it daemon or daemon? We'll find out. It might be annoying because I don't have shared Ethernet. Okay, I already have it installed. But what's neat about Avahi is an MDNS, either server or client. I don't know which side is called what. But if you have a Mac, Macs have this built in, or if you install I'm going to try to remember the exact name of the software. It's Bonjour. On Mac, on Linux. Okay, so in Windows, you have to install the Bonjour print services, which is basically a thing that lets you get access to MDNS. Sometimes you have to install iTunes. If you installed iTunes, you're good to go. And this is the thing that iTunes uses to be able to find devices on your network based on like their a dynamic name that they define. So instead of having to know the IP address, because I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be able to know and memorize, 169.254.119.107. Instead, I want to be able to ping something like Raspberry Pi local. So what's nice is, since I've already installed, actually Avahi now comes with Raspberry Pi, you can just do that ping raspberry pi.local, and it will do the right thing. And then you can also, I don't know if PuTTY supports, we'll find out. It might not. Let's find out if it does. It's been a while. Oh, it does. Okay, so you can also use that. I can't type in Raspberry. You can use that to SSH as well. So now you don't have to know the IP address. Okay, so that's handy, right? Like the operating system is smart enough to do the MDNS query, and the Raspberry Pi will send that over the Ethernet gadget. So the next thing we want to do is you can have an application running on your Pi, and then maybe you want to access it from your Windows computer. So I was like, this is a good excuse to play with VNC. So VNC is a way for you to basically look at you launch an X server and you can control it from Windows. So you normally do sudo apt update. You do have to have Ethernet or Wi-Fi on this to install the software. So if you haven't set up sharing, you'll plug in your hub, reboot and plug in your hub. But you install type VNC server. And I already have it installed because I've already done this. But for you, it'll say like, hey, install, and it'll spend some time installing the software. And then you run VNC server :1. And it will basically start. I mean, the first time you run, it'll ask you for a password, which I just set to be the same as the password for the Raspberry Pi Raspberry. And then you will run the VNC software on your Mac or Windows or Linux desktop or whatever computer you want. You can use Real VNC. You can download it. It seems to be free. It's not open source, but it's free. I downloaded it earlier, and then you can type in, again, raspberrypi.local :1 to tell it, hey, I want to do VNC through the USB connection, and connect, and it'll say it's not encrypted, and you're like, it's okay because it's going through a USB cable. I don't care about that. And then you put in the password, and it'll say, hey, it's unencrypted, and you're like, I don't care. And now this is the Pi. So now I have a direct connection to the Pi's graphical interface. This is kind of neat. You can launch software if you want. I don't think, yes, it's not going to work. It's like, I don't have the network connection. I didn't have time to set up the network sharing, and I think I have to do some IP configuring stuff, so I don't want to do that live. But you can set up network sharing so it could connect to the internet. Or you can just run software, so you can run Minecraft. Let's see if that works. Oh no, you know what? It won't, because it displays straight. That's something I realize now. If you are trying to run stuff that does direct HDMI, it won't work. So you have to only run things that run locally. So let's try Wolfram. Looks like this runs. But you can run any software, and if you want, you can have the Pi, if you want to have the Pi have some sort of interface or interaction with hardware, you can do it this way where you just plug it into the computer, it boots up, it starts VNC, and then you can run a VNC server and use that as a way of controlling the Pi or running software. You don't have to run a full VNC server. You can also run a web server in general on the Pi. I mean, the Pi is a full Linux computer. So you have a lot of possibilities. What's nice about USB Gadget is just simplifies it, because you get USB and data over one line, and you can use serial, or you can use Ethernet. You can even use combo devices. If you want, you can make it's like G_multi. You'll get Ethernet and serial. However, on Windows, you won't have the driver for that, and it's not there is no driver for it because it's a combination USB device. So it works on Mac and Linux, but doesn't work on Windows. So yay for Windows. But if you're using a single device, Ethernet or serial works great. So this is kind of fun. You can set up a couple different devices. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Ethernet or serial. You can also do MIDI. Can look like a printer, can look like a mass storage device. So you plug it in and it looks like a disk drive. If you do that, you won't get the whole Pi as a disk drive. It won't be sharing. It'll be a sub file that is the file system. It's not, you can't have the Ethernet, the Gadget mass storage access the entire file system for the safety of I think the kernel just doesn't like it if you do that, the kernel module, so you have to create a file. But it looked like there was quite a few different USB Gadget Ethernet serial. Let's see if I can pull up a list. Yes, there's like G multi. And it'll tell you about like all the requirements for the USB Gadget stuff. So I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. It is the one thing that you can't do on a Raspberry Pi B plus or a plus or a Pi 2. It's unique to the PiZero because it has the micro USB connection with that extra pin connected. So you can't really prototype this on another Pi. However, the BeagleBone Black does have this capability. So that's one of the nice things about the BeagleBone Black. You plug it in, so it's like a disk drive, and it'll install drivers and stuff for you. But you can check out the kernel.org USB Gadget details, and that's kind of where I figured out how to set up the serial and Ethernet gadget, but they have information on all the other ones too. So I think it's kind of neat. And again, it's one of the few things that you can only do on the PiZero. Kind of handy. So that's it. Yeah. I kind of want to like try MIDI.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how the power works with this? There was a couple questions about that.
Yeah, you're powering it through your computer. So the power on the PiZero has very straightforward power. The 5-volt pin is connected to the 5-volt pin of the power USB connection and the 5-volt pin of the USB data port. So if you are connecting USB gadget mode and you plug into that data port, your computer will also be providing it 5-volt power. You can also just normally normally you wouldn't connect your computer's USB port to that because you would use that for your USB client. Like you would want to plug in a Wi-Fi adapter into there. In this case, because we're using that connection for both, you can just use that one connector. Like the power there is no diodes. Like it's all connected together in one network. Oh, Gadget MIDI. I guess there's more on Linux. I like how this is like from 2005. Like nobody has updated this. It's kind of cool. Let's see. MIDI. This is kind of cool. How do I do that? Yeah, with mass storage, you have to set up a backing store. I tried doing it. It's kind of a pain, but you can do it. But then you have to like set it up. Okay, so. Anyways, I'm gonna like try this out, but people can ask.
Here's a question: can you do GPIO camera with the PiZero?
I don't know what a GPIO camera is. Apparently it does have. Well, wrong.
Or maybe I can restate it. What camera could you use with the PiZero?
Oh, if you want to have a camera, like you want to take photos using the PiZero, you would have to use a USB webcam that's supported by Linux, which is a joy. But if you can find one, that's your best bet because it doesn't have a Raspberry Pi camera connection. Let's see what happens if I just...
serial camera?
You could use a serial camera, but like kind of unpleasant. Like it's slow and it's about the same price as just getting a webcam. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to try GMIDI, see what occurs. So I just lost my Ethernet device, but let's see if this enumerates as something else. I have not tried this yet, so I only wish you would tell me, hey, which device? Whoa, don't install Windows 10. Sorry. There's a composite device. MIDI gadget. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Audio device. That's kind of neat. So you could have this basically be a synthesizer. Maybe you could like control it from Windows or Linux back and forth and send data. Let's see where the heck does it go in? USB devices? Sound? Yeah, MIDI function. That's cool. It's like the default MIDI. Looks like a USB audio device. That's kind of interesting. Mod Probe G MIDI. And then, looks like you have, yeah, there's a new sound card. And then I guess on the other side, you have to configure it. Weird.
And folks, if you have some more PiZero questions,
Yeah, now's a good time to ask them.
now's the time to ask. Because
This is your last chance.
This is your last chance to ask them. We have other Deaths of Lady Ada ahead, but we're going to switch gears in the future versions and cover other topics. I think 10 was pretty good.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty good. Whoa, there's two of me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even look at that.
Hello.
You spawned.
Yeah, but like as you can see, like all I did was change G Ethernet to G MIDI, and now like Linux is like, hey, you have a MIDI audio device, so like you could have it. I don't know whether it's input or output. Maybe it's both. It looks like it creates a sound card, so you could maybe have this act as a synthesizer, or music device, or other way around. Like you could use this with like GarageBand or something, and maybe like Max MSP. I mean, like all sorts of possibilities.
Okay, I can answer this one because I've been part of the Adafruit supply chain. So the way it works with Raspberry Pi is we don't know how many we're getting and when we're getting them. This is a unique situation. So what we decided to do was do a contest. We can at least give away some. When they come in, they will evaporate. Your best bet is just to sign up. There's going to be more signups for a while. This happened last year and the year before with Raspberry Pi. They're very popular because they're basically sold at or below cost. So, this isn't like a group of people, us, holding back inventory or anything like that.
I don't have 20,000,
Yeah,
and I'm not like hoarding them.
We actually have about 10 or 15, and that 10 is going to be used for the contest that you can win one. So anyways, it's a little annoying when people say or conclude or convince there's a conspiracy that we have a bunch and we're just sitting on them.
Why would we even do that?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
There are people who sell them at a higher price on eBay, and that's pretty crummy.
That's lame.
So what we decided to do was how can we educate folks about them, get some free ones out there, and when they come in, we do the best we can to get them to as many people as possible. Raspberry Pi Foundation has a hit. They'll probably keep making a lot, so just be excellent to each other, and that's probably the best thing that you can do.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be cool because we have thousands of people who want them, and we don't have thousands of PiZeros. So we put them in the store and notify as many people as we can, so that we could ship them at the same day. We do the best we can. We have absolutely no interest in hoarding these.
Yeah, we don't make money by not shipping these.
We
okay.
don't- yeah.
Could you remap CSI pins to the GPIO pins like you did with the Kippa to use the Pi camera on the Zero?
No, I don't believe so. I believe those pins are not multiplexed like they are. Usually MIPI and CSI and DSI pins are hard-coded in, and I'm pretty sure they are. Otherwise, somebody would have probably done a hack showing how you can use the GPIO pins. But I don't remember seeing anything about CSI or DSI pins exposed on the GPIO port. That's one of the things that you don't get on the PiZero. You don't get the display connector or the camera connector. But you can use HDMI out, and we talked about a whole bunch of different video options. If you'd like, you can have HDMI, you can have composite, which is nice, they left that available. SPI-based devices, or as you said, you could use a Kippa or something to have a TTL output, a TTL, logic 24-bit output.
What's a good battery for the Raspberry Pi Zero?
A good battery, I would actually use one of those USB lipstick chargers that you can get at like every gas station and convenience store. They cost like $10-20 and like works really well. You just charge it from your computer and then plug it into your Pi, and it'll power your Pi for a couple hours.
Okay, there's no reason we can't turn MIPI on the PiZero and make clusters of them, right?
MIPI.
MPI.
I do not know what MPI is. But whatever, yeah, if you want.
All right.
I know somebody did use the Ethernet gadget capability to create a cluster of PiZeros controlled by one computer with a big hub, because that was just the most convenient way to, like Ethernet over USB is very fast and easy and easy to interface with, because you can just use it as like a socket interface. You can just have sockets that use it. And so they created a cluster, and they said that using Gadget Ethernet was the easiest way to cluster all the PiZeros.
Okay, and for the person asking how to enter the contest, just go to hackaday.io. All you have to do is post your ideas. It can probably be photos, it could be a diagram, it could be a little bit of anything, but the more you invest, the more likely you are to win.
Yes, they have to be well thought out and well documented projects.
And to answer the question, if you're looking to add a camera, yes, a USB webcam is the way to go.
Yeah, that's the best way to go. That's what I suggest. Just find one that you know works with Linux, that works with kernel 4.4. And it should just work with the PiZero. You'll need a little adapter, but I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Which LED screen has the same or close to size as the PiZero?
The smallest display that I know would work would be one of our Pi hats, like the 2.4-inch hat, which is a little bit bigger than the PiZero, but it's still pretty small and gives you 320 by 240 DPI, which you can actually kind of do stuff with. Anything smaller is like really tough to be usable, I think. I mean, you could put a 1.44-inch display, but now I'm talking about 128 by 128. Like, that's barely enough to even write text with. Could maybe, but it's tough.
Okay. MPI is massively parallel clustering protocol. It runs over Ethernet.
I guess you could do it.
Tony DeCola, a little shout out, Tony DeCola, believes it does run.
If it runs on Linux, I don't see why it wouldn't run. You
Or-
could get your Beowulf cluster going.
Well, it runs over Ethernet. I shouldn't say that it does run. Oh, can the Pi be a Fermata device? That's another question.
Yes, but you'd have to implement Fermata. You'd have to write the code or adapt Pi Fermata to it, which I don't know if anyone's done yet. But there's no reason why you couldn't. You have tons of GPIO. Could have it act like a Fermata device over Gadget serial or over the console cable.
Okay, if I had the Pi emulating a hard drive, can it tell what file was being accessed?
No, I mean, like what you do is you create a backing store. So there's a special file that's like a 1 gigabyte file or whatever size you want it to be. And then that is a file system. And then while it's being accessed over USB, you cannot, the Linux side, the Pi, cannot access it because it's like being used as a gadget. However, once it's unplugged, like it's unmounted from the computer, you can then mount it as a file system. It's probably like an ext something file system, but you can Google for mass storage backing store. I like looked into it and I'm like, this is, I mean, like it's cute. I mean, like it's basically like, you plug in your Kindle, you can drag files on, and then when you eject, the operating system will open up the backing store file as a file system and extract all the files and move them to the main file system. Or I mean, maybe it accesses them directly off of the backing store as like a mounted file system, but you can't read from the backing store at the same time as USB is accessing it. I don't believe you can do that. Or, I mean, you can probably force Linux to let you do it, but like it's gonna suck. Like you'll probably end up corrupting stuff.
Okay, it says you can if you hack the Gadget kernel module, and
Yeah,
you have
but
to
like,
report it to console.
Don't do it. That's not a good idea. I mean, like you
Don't
really
do
don't
it.
want to have two file systems, like two devices accessing a file system at the same time. It's not a good idea.
Do you think the PiZero should have been called the Pi 5 because of the price? That would have been confusing because everyone would have said,
Is
what
it
are
better?
what are the other Pis?
Where's
Yeah.
the Pi 3 and Pi 4? Because right now there's only the Pi 2 and the Pi 1. I think PiZero is a wise choice. It's pre-Pi 1. It's less powerful than the Pi 1. So I think that's okay. I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right. That is going to be pretty much it. Did a good job. with
Yeah, I
all
think
the
we did like
questions.
10 videos.
Yeah, 10 videos, hundreds of questions answered.
Yes,
And so
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, and for the folks who are curious, we posted up a 360 video if you want to see what the Desk of Lady Ada setup looks like. And we also have our shows coming up. Desk of Lady Ada is frequently random. That's the point of it.
We had one last night.
Yeah, and then there...
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and then there is Show and Tell, Ask an Engineer, 3D Hangouts, Collins Lab, long-form video we just posted, And then Tony DeCola has some deep dives. He did one today, I believe.
Yes, he tends to do them on Friday, but there's no
Yeah.
promises.
Weekends are the best time for this. And then we have a bunch of Desk of Lady Ada planned, and then
Tons.
we'll be moving our show into manufacturing. So Ask an Engineer will be getting a facelift later, but the
Makeover time.
the show itself will be moving.
Yes.
So
So
that's
it'll be
kinda
at the
neat.
same time, and as far as you can tell, the same location, but for us, we will be moving
Yeah.
to a different location, a secret, hidden
Yeah.
location.
So it'll be pretty neat. It's been something that people have asked, and you ask, we fulfill. So okay, all right. One last question.
Hit me.
The 16 by 2 LED character strip thingy, is that close to the size of a Pi? Zero?
Oh, good point. Yeah,
Oh, there
I
is
think
one more question after this.
I do not have any LCDs with me, but yeah, a 16 by 2 LCD is about the same size. I was assuming you meant a graphic display, but yeah, it would be. It's I think a little bit bigger, but it's not crazy bigger. So that could be a good thing to put on the back. You just it's only character display, but I wish I had one here. But actually, this is one of the few items that I did not bring home with me. So yeah, just check the dimensions. Again, just look online for what the dimensions are of a 16 by 2 character LCD and just compare. I think it's going to be a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger.
Okay, ideas on generating a FSK audio output for, say, APRS on the PiZero. I know a USB audio device might work.
An FSK audio, so I guess a frequency shift key output. Well, it depends on what frequency you want, right? I mean, if it's really just audio, then yes, you can use I2S or you can use a USB serial device. I guess you could use the analog output and just filter it. I mean, again, it depends on what frequency you're looking on shift keying here. If you need high frequency, of course, you'll want like some RF device, but I just don't know what range you're looking for. But we did a video all about audio, and actually, no, the PWM output of the Pi is like 50 megahertz or something ridiculous. So even if you want one decade below that, that's 5 megahertz. That you could filter it down, and even if below that would be 500 kilohertz. It's way above audio, but maybe if that's the frequency range you're looking for, then yeah, you could totally do that.
Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions. I believe we're. Oh, this is a question. Will Colin do live streaming? Yeah, that's what we're trying to work on, because it seems like the direction is live, and Colin's really fast on his feet. So I kind of want to have a Colin's lab, and maybe we'll have demos set up in advance, and maybe we'll just be playing some clips, and he'll maybe MC. I think that's the future. I mean, believe it or not, we have more viewers on mobile than we do on a HD production, because it's just in time, and people are often trapped, and their phones are their lifeline to what we're currently calling society. And it's also a lot easier on us. I mean, recording and editing a video takes hours and hours. It takes about 1 hour per minute of video. So if you see an edited video online that's about 5 minutes long, that's 5 hours of footage that needed to be taken to edit it down, and it takes like hours and hours to edit that video because you have to watch it multiple times. So it can easily be 20 hours to create a 5-minute video. Yeah. Someone asked, what about Cat Cam tonight? Cat is downstairs, so there is no Cat Cam tonight. But it's not. Don't worry, he's still alive. Yeah. At some point, we might do like an entire other type of show, which is in theme with our series of newsletters called Maker Business. We have adafruitdaily.com, which is our newsletter site. No spam, no sales, no nothing. It's just news that we think is interesting once a day. And we might want to talk about like what's the future of content creation for electronic companies, because we think it's live, but the making of the content can't take more than making something. And given how really nice. And given how fast processors are, and given how good cameras are, there's not a lot of reason, if you're doing frequently updated content, to spend a ton of time scripting it and making it polished. In fact, the people watching, there was a parent last night and said, I really like Lady Ada doing EagleCAD because you make little mistakes along the way, but you correct them and then you talk.
I totally
about
made a mistake today. Like I
Yeah.
forgot to expand the Pi's SD card, but
Yeah.
I had another SD card ready because I knew that I would probably do something wrong.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to do wrong, but you will do something wrong. So it's always good. I always have a backup. This is one thing I've learned about doing live video. Is just always have the casserole already baked.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem right now is in the modern education system. Kids think that they're going to study and become a perfect engineer. The answer is you're actually always learning. You're always going to have mistakes presented as opportunities to learn from. And you're never going to take a test and therefore you are a perfect engineer. You just have to constantly adapt and adjust and change. And you have to be really robust. And that's the difference between kind of a polished presented thing like a very slick video. Like we see slick videos all the time that they look like what they are, which is highly produced, and you can just put an actor, an actress in. Where what we're doing is it's genuine. This is the desk of Lady Ada. This is what you see is what you get. This is everything there. And so a lot of engineers,
Breadboards.
I know because it's the only people I really hang out with, is they're looking at things to do on a Saturday night, on a Friday night, and they're not clubbing anymore. Maybe they do once in a while, but most of the time they're using that free time to start to explore, think of different chips, and they want to watch other engineering.
The only thing I wish we could do is have like club music going on at the same time here. That would be sweet.
Yeah, if the YouTube content match.
I know if they wouldn't.
Even when we play our own music, which we've owned and made, it's a little.
Yeah, they freak.
It's a little
annoying.
freaky. So okay.
That's the only thing keeping us from our 100% hackers desire streaming show. Like we would be streaming from inside of a club.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. If you like this type of content, by the way, please purchase something at adafruit.com. This is what fuels it. We'll keep doing this till we run out of money.
Yay!
Well, that's what it is. The company has not taken any loans or venture capital. So what you do, what you purchase, what you tell your friends to consider is how we pay the bills here. So we do efforts like this with Hackaday. Hackaday has a special place in my heart. I started the site over 10 years ago, designed the logo, the look and feel, and the vision, and I later gave it away when I wanted to do Make Magazine. And the people that are running it right now are doing a really good job. So thank you, Sophie and Adam, for a fantastic contest. Joe, who made an amazing poster. This is the artwork that was created, and it's kind of a dream to see all the favorite,
it's so cute.
All the favorite things in life in one image.
PiZero, drones, your logo. So, okay.
Right, well,
thank you, everybody. That was our 10th video. I hope you enjoyed it. This isn't the end of Desk of Lady Ada. Of course, we'll be continuing to do videos, so check in with us. Enter in this contest so you can win one of these PiZeros. I've been trying to convince you for 9 episodes, 10 episodes so far, so come on, enter the contest. I know you have a good idea. You can win some great prizes. And if you really liked the series, tell Hackaday that you liked it, and maybe we'll do another one. That would be fun. Do another video series.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you, everybody.
That's it.
Don't forget to enter, win something awesome. Later.